Stanford and South Carolina meeting for the 7th time in their history. A trip to the national championship game is on the line. Cameron Brink had battled a hamstring. She's starting, will jump it up. And after a 2-year wait, the Final Four is underway.
You will see Stanford play man-to-man defense, but it will not be out, pressure and deny. They will look to help in when Boston has the basketball.
Out of a double, found Cook, can't hit the three, and the rebound, grabbed by Hull. Wisely tossed it off of Beal, and it's Stanford basketball. Sort of a contrast in styles here tonight, Rebecca.
Yeah, we were talking about that with Dawn Staley. She said Tara wants the basketball game to be clean and beautiful. We want it to be the opposite. We want to muck it up on the defensive end.
And Dawn would know, she played for Tara in the Olympics. Nice hands there by Beal. One of South Carolina's top defenders comes up with an early steal. Here's Henderson from the elbow, got fouled, and an early personal on Lexi Hull is going to put Henderson at the line.
And Lexi Hull is defending Bree Beal. Stanford, when the opposing team has a player who does not shoot well and consistently from the perimeter, will play off of her, help off of her on the more potent offensive threats.
Hull had a tremendous game against Louisville as Stanford overcame a 12-point halftime deficit. Holly told you about the second half for Kiana Williams. It was Lexi Hull in the first half that even kept Stanford as close as they were. Anderson hits both free throws. And a turnover here, back-to-back possessions from Stanford.
That was Tara Vanderveer's #1 key, is we cannot turn the basketball over. Live ball turnovers are much more deadly, though, because South Carolina is so good and fast in transition.
Dawn Staley has said when teams beat us, they have taken away our ability to push the basketball. How about Boston? The sophomore showing the range.
Say to Cameron Brink, if you're not going to come out and guard me out here, you're in trouble.
Aliyah Boston quite capable of hitting from downtown. A 5-0 start for South Carolina. Here's Williams, didn't have an angle. Shot clock is at 10. Jones connects.
Haley Jones is really good when she can get to that free throw line area because she can hit that shot, and she's also a tremendous passer out of that area.
You see averaging 4 assists in the NCAA tournament. The little runner is good. Nice touch there from Zia Cook.
Zia Cook has been playing really well the last 3 games of the NCAA tournament, and it's always important for South Carolina, for her confidence, if she can make shots early.
These teams last met in the semifinals in 2017, a South Carolina win en route to their national championship. Jones able to sneak it into Brink, couldn't quite finish. Jones on the offensive glass, couldn't claw it. And Boston able to collect for South Carolina, off to a good start here, a 7-2 lead. Henderson the shovel. Here is Beal, who's incredibly talented offensively, but has really settled into more of a defensive scrappy role with the offensive talent around her. As Henderson gets fouled, and Henderson will go to the line once again.
Aliyah Boston has deep range, and how confident does a sophomore look stepping into her first shot? And another confident sophomore right now, Zia Cook, with the mid-range game.
Anderson hits the first free throw.
And I know South Carolina's benefiting by going to the free throw line, but I think the closer this game is called, it actually benefits Stanford because South Carolina likes to play a little more physical brand of basketball.
A 9-2 start for South Carolina. They feel like they've really found their footing since the SEC tournament. Williams squeezed it to Belibi, getting early minutes here for Stanford. Off the bench to replace Brink as Williams couldn't finish. Rebound ends up with Anna Wilson. Stanford has to peel back out. Jones unable to hit. Thinking about talking with Dawn Staley, she said, we have to make them put the ball on the floor. We don't want to see a ton of passing. Sort of what you've seen in some of these early possessions, like that one from Stanford, as Boston is going to be tied up here, and the possession arrow belongs to Stanford.
And on the other side of that, Ryan, for 3 quarters of Stanford's shoot-around this morning, they worked on passing and ball cuts and relieving ball pressure by cutting to the basket and using screens by moving quickly. South Carolina has taken away all of that so far.
A 9-2 start for South Carolina here in the semifinals. Williams, step back, no. Weak side board to Beal. And Williams 0 for 2 to start this game. Cook speeds in. Nice job using the window with a difficult angle. An 11-2 start for South Carolina. That is going to be another turnover from Stanford.
That time looking for the backcourt pass or the backdoor cut, and it was not there. It's not a kick when the ball is thrown off the player's foot.
3 turnovers already for Stanford. Nice poke away there from Williams, leads to a transition opportunity. Jones the flick ahead, and Williams unable to finish, but Jones is there for the follow.
We saw in the last round game how important it is for Stanford to have Kiana Williams playing well and confidently. She has had a tough start here so far in this first quarter.
0 for 3 from the floor. We go back to that Tara Vanderveer quote. Key is the key. Boston using her size. Aliyah Boston pops it in. Overpowering Belibi on the block.
That is 2 big, strong women matched up against one another in the low post.
13-4 start for South Carolina as Jones cans another jumper. And Haley Jones has accounted for all 6 Stanford points.
She's the one for Stanford, because of her size, who can get her jump shot off over her defenders. It is going to be important for her to continue to look to be offensive.
Oh, nice cut from Cook and nice delivery from Sexton. You could not ask for a better start if you're Dawn Staley. Said she feels like her team has finally stopped with the excuse me attitude and asking before taking. She said, we've relieved ourselves of our nice label, found our footing here in San Antonio.
A couple of sophomores getting it done for South Carolina. Aliyah Boston showing her strength, and how about the speed from Zia Cook?
Well, we will see history made tonight. It is a very special evening when Dawn Staley and Aliyah Barnes both take the floor as head coaches of their programs. These are the 5 women who've been here before, coaches of color who've been in this moment. And Dawn said, you know, it is significant. This is what it should look like. It should be 50% of society, 50% of opportunity. And both of the coaches got a very lovely note from a woman who's been here before and led the way and led an example. Here is the beautiful note that she sent to Adia and Dawn. Congratulations. I'm proud of you for representing Black women. She's dreamed of this day. And both of these coaches have been very involved in the Women of Color Coaching Network. For more on that, here's LaChina Robinson.
Yes, Holly, the Women of Color Coaches Network is really built as an infrastructure to support Black women who are head coaches. It's not just about them getting the job, but they want to help each other to be successful. So they get on Zooms, they talk about strategy and encourage each other. Dawn Staley is a part of it, Adia is a part of it, Coach Stringer, but it's just a place where Black women who are head coaches can go to help others rise and increase the visibility so that we can have more successful Black women and hopefully have more Black women as head coaches.
Dawn Staley was saying, we're having this conversation and these questions are being asked because there are 2 in the Final Four for the first time. And she said it's a great conversation to have. She's also looking for the day when it's the norm. And so the questions are not continuing to be asked.
She said, I hope at some point it's just part of the game and we won't have to write about it. A 15-6 start for Dawn Staley's South Carolina team. That one took a trip around the rim before tilting out. And it's going to be Stanford basketball. 3:50 to go in this first quarter and a 9-point South Carolina lead. Ashton Prechtel into the game for Stanford. She starred off the bench in the second half of the Elite Eight matchup with Louisville as Hull unable to finish. Her twin sister Lexi keeps it alive. It will remain with Stanford and plenty of time on the shot clock. Prechtel had 16 points all in the second half in that comeback win in the Elite Eight as Hull, Lexi buries the three.
And that's a luxury that Tara Vanderveer has. It's a deep bench. She continues to play 10, 11 people throughout the course of the tournament. She's trying to find the answer at that 5 spot. Prechtel is the third center to play in this game already in the first quarter for Stanford.
Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, Cameron Brink is suffering from a hamstring injury. You saw her try to start this game. It's heavily taped and wrapped, and she's just not moving like she has been. So you see Tara Vanderveer go early to Fran Belibi, but Fran's getting pushed around in the lane. Now she's trying Ashton Prechtel. That will be an ongoing storyline tonight.
And Rebecca, it's rare that you have a team that's as deep as Stanford is at this point in the tournament. You're usually seeing 6, 7, maybe 8-player rotations. Stanford actually will go 11 deep.
Yeah, and Tara Vanderveer has confidence in each and every one of them.
Hull had it knocked away. Prechtel, 3 to shoot, gives to Jones, who connects from downtown.
Haley Jones becoming a three-point shooter here in the NCAA tournament.
9 points in this first quarter. She's 4 for 7 from downtown in the tournament. She was 1 for 9 all season entering. Was the #1 prospect in the 2019 recruiting class. Here is Boston, hand in her face, too strong. Rebound, Hull ran right into Beal, but Stanford able to collect. Jones with Giddy up in her gate will flip it up and off. And the rebound dug up by Henderson. Anderson behind the back, lost it. And South Carolina gives it back to Stanford.
South Carolina was being more patient early on in this first quarter on the offensive end. They need to go back to that when they don't have a clear-cut transition look.
Lacey trying to find an angle, gets fouled. And Lacey Hull will shoot 2.
Haley Jones, I mean, the one knock on her game, if there was one, coming into the tournament was that she did not have range, that she wasn't consistent from 3 because she was 1 for 9 during the course of the regular season in Pac-12 tournament, but in the NCAA tournament, she has turned it on.
Just save them for when they mean most. A Thursday at 5 Eastern, the Frozen Four gets underway in Pittsburgh as St. Cloud State and Minnesota State face off in the national semifinals on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. For more, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. I can just picture Gino if you all of a sudden started shooting threes this time of year. As long as they're going in, he'd smile.
Yeah.
A 7-0 run here for Stanford. Beal, short, rebound. Williams lost it. Boston able to tie up Williams. And it's going to be South Carolina basketball as Williams visibly upset with herself.
Under out of bounds plays is where Dawn Staley likes to get certain players looks, get them shots that they might not normally get in their half-court set. One of them is Bree Beal.
We see Letitia Amie here in off the bench for South Carolina. She has been absolutely terrific in this tournament, seeing her minutes increase with Lily Grissett out with a lower leg injury. The only senior on the roster is Grissett. Cook, still plenty of time to shoot. Now the shot clock down to 6. Boston dumps it in. Amie here found an angle and got the whistle. And Amie here will shoot 2.
Really nice job because help came from the middle. She started her move towards the middle, saw the double team coming and went back the other way.
And we talked with Dawn Staley as Brink will check back into the game for Stanford about Amie here. You see her incredible performance in the Elite Eight against Texas. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 9 blocks in 17 minutes. And she said, you know, the biggest thing is to be needed. She has stepped up when we need her right now without having Grissett. By the way, Haley Jones picks up foul number 2 there. So Brink into the game for Jones, and that obviously is going to be enormous to watch for Stanford the rest of the way here in the first half. Hull finds the angle, couldn't finish. Prechtel got it out to Williams. Another chance here for Stanford. 2-for-1 opportunity. Prechtel dumps it down, had it knocked away, and it's going to be South Carolina basketball.
Jones out of the game is huge right now for Stanford. She was getting looks early because South Carolina is quicker than most of the Stanford players, but Haley Jones had the size and her matchups to still have the vision and to get her shot off.
So 2 fouls on Jones, who has 9 points. Boston will get a breather here for South Carolina. About a 10-second difference, game and shot clock. Destiny Littleton in off the bench for South Carolina as Henderson throws it out of bounds, and Stanford can hold for a final shot here in the first.
Another three-point shooter in, hand to jump. Well, Prechtel, a three-point shooter went out.
Jump 43% from 3 this season, was over 40% last season as well. South Carolina has not scored in the last 4.5 minutes. Williams takes it early and hits. Left South Carolina a lot of time, though. Here is Henderson, 6 seconds left in the quarter. Henderson with 3, will give it up. Beal can't bank it in at the buzzer, and that will do it for the first. South Carolina jumped out to a big lead, but Stanford ends the first quarter of this semifinal matchup on a 9-0 run. The Stanford Cardinal have gotten used to nomadic life this season, displaced from Maples Pavilion in their home, spent 63 days, traveled 7,500 miles, and have not been able to spend nearly the amount of time on their home floor that they normally would. At one point, went 70 days between home games. Holly Rowe, this team has had to find a way to deal with adversity.
That's right. That was the county health restrictions that forced that. And Tara Vanderveer said her team just had to have flexibility as their middle name. They practiced in high school gyms. They had to take classes right before shoot-around. Maybe they'd have practice with 5 or 6 people, but they have found a way, a total of 85 days now on the road after this extended period in San Antonio.
Hull got fouled on the drive. Well, it makes sense that we asked Tara Vanderveer to describe the identity of her team in a word, and she said steady. And they've had to be to navigate this unprecedented season and being displaced the way that they were. Went from December 2nd to February 1st without sleeping in their own beds.
When they got here to the bubble here, they're like, this is no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
We did this for a lot longer earlier in the season.
Stanford on an extended 10-0 run dating back to the end of that first quarter, and the first lead of the game for Stanford after those free throws.
Dawn Staley getting Aliyah Boston some rest on the bench after that quarter break.
Cook trying to find some space, could not. Ami here, doubled, dishes out, 7 to shoot. Cook gets denied. Prechtel was there. Shot clock at 3, and Beal was able to wedge her way into a whistle. Will shoot 2. Tara Vanderveer meeting with the seniors pregame tonight, getting her troops ready for this contest. The winningest coach in Division I history. And one thing she also mentioned in that same conversation, Rebecca, about the steadiness of her team, is she said, we have great leadership. Said the seniors have gone out of their way to constantly have the younger players on Zooms. They organized it themselves to teach our players the offense when we weren't able to meet in person.
Said along with the weekly Zooms that we did as a team, they all met with the younger players weekly as well, showing some leadership before the season even started.
That free throw ended a 5+ minute stretch without scoring for South Carolina as Williams couldn't get it to go. Hull followed it up. met the bottom of the rim. Good dig there from Beal. Brechtel couldn't get it cleanly, but patiently finishes.
Much like in their last game against Louisville, Stanford missing a lot of clean layups inside.
South Carolina, meanwhile, has missed its last 7 field goal attempts. That foul will be against Lacey Hull, her second. Remember, Haley Jones on the bench right now with 2 fouls for Stanford, and now Anna Wilson, the co-defensive player of the year in the Pac-12, will check back in for Stanford. One of Tara Vanderveer's keys was Wilson's ability to guard Zaya Cook and Destiny Henderson. They've combined for 10 points thus far as Beal couldn't finish it. Ami here trying to find space and got fouled. Ami here is going to go to the line, try and cut into that 13-1 Stanford run you just saw. And Brink back into the game for Hannah Jump. That last foul on Brechtel, her first.
South Carolina gets you when they can miss a shot and then go get the second opportunity. This is a South Carolina team that has not been out-rebounded in any games this season.
Incredible. Dawn Staley's squad, 3rd in the country in rebounding margin, out-rebounding teams by an average of 15 boards per game.
Right now, Stanford has the edge, but we'll see if they can hold on to it.
A 19-17 Stanford lead. Williams hops it up and off. Boston the rebound. Almost looked like Williams was between a pass and a shot. South Carolina has gone 6.5 minutes without a field goal. Henderson trying to end it, gets it to Boston. Immediately swarmed, doubled. Wilson, great hands. Forced it out of bounds. Hey, 3 marquee events highlight this weekend's version of the Sunday lineup. Lakers-Clippers, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. The Women's NCAA Championship, 6 Eastern on ESPN. And then Sunday Night Baseball, White Sox-Angels, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN.
You know I like the lineup.
Ooh, a foul there against Stanford. And Cameron Brink will get called for her first personal.
Ooh. Unless she got her with a body, it looked like it was clean down low.
And now a foul going the other way as Ami here is whistled for the foul, and that will be number 2 on Letitia Ami here.
Yeah, she displaced the defender. She's just trying to post up hard, but she displaced the defender.
Here's Brechtel. Trying to get it into Hull. Lexi Hull had it knocked away by Beal. Another terrific defensive play by Bree Beal. Saxton, Boston, Cook, Beal, and Henderson, the starting 5 back on the floor for South Carolina. Cook couldn't catch it, was able to retrieve it, 10 to shoot. Cook trying to find space, meets the trees, and there will be 4 to shoot for South Carolina.
Early in the possession, there's a lot of good ball movement by South Carolina. Zaya Cook, one of the players who can create on her own.
Beal has to put it up, gets denied by Brink. Leads the nation when it comes to freshman blocks. 7th overall, and scores another one here.
6'5", and she is so long. Really nice timing on the help side block.
Brink, the number 3 recruit in the 2020 class, gets called for an offensive foul here. It'll be number 2 on Brink. And one thing we can definitely say, Rebecca, on both sides, this is being called a lot more closely than the earlier rounds we have seen here in San Antonio.
Yeah, without question, it's being called really closely, but I think fairly. And it's a little bit of a surprise that Stanford has so many more fouls because typically South Carolina is the more aggressive defensive team.
I think Baylor and UConn are watching this game saying, hold on a second.
Right.
Saxton couldn't finish. Prechtel the rebound. Here comes Williams. Williams, the hometown hero, finding Hull on a three. Lexi Hull connects. Stanford on an extended 16-2 run. It's felt more like a steady-paced jog over the last 8.5 minutes. Boston, and that is going to be a travel before the contact as South Carolina turns it over.
I like the idea to get the ball to Aliyah Boston with her back to the basket, because it is really hard to defend her with only one player, so big and strong.
6 Stanford turnovers, 5 South Carolina turnovers. Stanford 3 for 3 from downtown. Far fewer attempts than they're used to, but pristine accuracy. Shot clock at 6. Hull trying to dump it into Belibi, and there'll be 3 to shoot here for Stanford. Stanford a record 50 made threes through the first 4 games of this tournament. Prechtel short. Belibi cleans it up. Couldn't get it over Boston, who is just such a force on the interior. Here is Cook in the corner. Connects on a 3. And that is South Carolina's first field goal in over 9 minutes.
Desperately needed it, and it came in transition. A great time when you got your shooters running to the corners. Dawn Staley said in transition, I want my shooters going to the corners, and that is why.
Hull on the attack, hounded by Beal. More great defense from Bree Beal. Here's Cook slicing through. Looked like she might have gotten fouled by Williams. No call. South Carolina's bench is perplexed, and at least on first glance, it looks like for good reason. Belibi looked like she might have gotten away with a walk then. Here comes Wilson. They back it out, and now Kiana Williams will slow things down here. Williams trying to loft it in over Boston, was able to. Boy, Henderson just blasting it right into the front court.
I don't know if there's a faster guard in the country end-to-end than Destiny Henderson.
2-time All-SEC player. When it comes to tournament time, was first in the SEC in assists this season, and the jump ball is going to stay with South Carolina. 4-point contest with just over 4 minutes to go in the first half. A trip to the national title game is on the line for South Carolina and Stanford. All right, Maria. Well, to Carolyn's point, 57% of South Carolina's points come in the paint. But Stanford has been able to hold serve there as well as on the glass. Is Cook too strong? Boston gives South Carolina another chance here. How about the footwork? Dominant and dexterous, Aliyah Boston. Shot clock all the way down to 10 here. Hull leaning, no. Rebound, Prechtel able to win it amongst the South Carolina bodies inside. Williams around the double screen. Henderson fought over it. Hull on the cut. Gets denied by Boston as we check in with LaChina.
Well, Aliyah Boston is helping her team in a number of ways. Even when she doesn't have the basketball, she occupies the second line of defense with her body so the guards can get to the rim. Dawn Staley called that keeping the defense honest. And she said we don't want to trigger that second line of defense, and so Boston has to stay active in those situations.
She's been terrific. I mean, and on the offensive end, the last possession, a double team came. She sensed it, felt it, went the other way, and scored. Continue to look for her inside.
Cook straight on three is good.
How good has Aliyah Cook been so far in this game?
12 points, 2 for 3 from downtown. Dawn Staley liked the way Zia Cook bounced back after a tough start to the tournament. Beliebe couldn't finish. Prechtel didn't snare it. And here comes Cook. Cook, the pirouette, couldn't finish. Beal gets denied emphatically by Beliebe. Wilson will get it into the arms of Williams. Stanford a 1-point lead, 2:10 to go in this first half. Oh, nice delivery, and Boston there again with the rejection.
This morning at shoot-around, Stanford had a stretch where their post players were at one end of the floor, and every time they caught the ball, they pump-faked first. And this was why. They knew that South Carolina had a shot-blocking machine inside, and I think it's also the reason Stanford has missed so many layups today. It's in their head.
Boston, a 2-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year. A first-team All-American. She has 8 rebounds, 7 points, 3 blocks already in this first half. 2 triple-doubles to her name thus far in her young career. Hey, you all know this, but this is the first of 2 games tonight. The second national semifinal game between 3-seed Arizona and 1-seed UConn. Still to come here in San Antonio. You catch the AP Player of the Year, Paige Beckers, as she looks to advance UConn to their 12th national title game. Aliyah Barnes, Ari McDonald, and Arizona leading the way there. 9:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. How about Ari McDonald and Paige Beckers? That matchup at the point guard position.
Can't wait. Can't wait. And Ari McDonald just playing great basketball. Her last 2 games, she's scored more than 30 points in each, shooting 50% from 3 in the NCAA tournament. She can fill it up.
First player since Arminty Harrington back in 2007 to have 30-plus in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Under 2 minutes to go in this second quarter. Hull trying to find some space, could not, but Prechtel was fouled on the follow. And Ashton Prechtel has been a presence on the offensive glass.
But you see what I mean? Even when Hull went in for the layup, it was like she double pumped it when she didn't need to. They know that South Carolina leads the nation in block shots, and they're worried about it every time they go in for a layup.
Well, think about how many times, Rebecca, we did a South Carolina game this year where we would see a guard penetrate, get within about 3 feet of Boston, and then peel back out beyond the 3-point line.
Give me your analogy again. The dark basement.
Oh, it's like when you're a kid running up the stairs after you shut off the lights in the basement. You're like, Mom, what is it that you wanted me to get again? As you come up the stairs. That's exactly what it's like. Now Boston, a little shaken up here, sort of stepping on her right leg a bit. Playing with it, you see a little bit of a
pitch in her step.
Yeah, a little bit. Boston grabs it at the free throw line here. Henderson squared up. No, Boston not bothered. Aliyah Boston gets denied. Good work there from Prechtel. Alyssa Jerome into the game for Stanford as well. Tara Vanderveer thought that Jerome may have a role to play in this particular matchup off the bench. Wilson gets just swallowed up by Boston. That's why you run up the stairs in the basement.
That's exactly why.
Prechtel hits the 3. Ashton Prechtel. It's a 6-point Stanford lead, their largest of the game. That's going to stay here, deflected by Stanford. Dawn Staley's team has found a way to muck things up a bit in this first half, but Stanford has done a nice job on the glass to be able to hang with the physicality. Henderson squeezed it into Beal. Boston a three, short, long board taken by Prechtel. Here is Wilson with essentially no difference between game and shot clock, and now Stanford can hold for a final shot here. South Carolina just 3 for 16 from the floor in this second quarter. And a whistle against Boston. South Carolina had a foul to give.
You don't ever want Aliyah Boston to give a foul, though, because she's just going to get some inside. You want her playing, and if she gets a foul, it's going to be on a block shot or making a hard post move.
That's the first on Boston. That's something Dawn Staley talked to us about, wanting to watch how Boston was still engaged defensively after any fouls. Hull gets swallowed up by Beal. That heave nearly banks in from Cook. Would have counted. And that'll do it for the first half. Stanford fell behind by 9 early. Haley Jones on the bench the entire second quarter with 2 fouls, but got off to a great start. And Aliyah Boston looking like the player of the year candidate she was and is. 7 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks. It's Stanford, though, with a 6-point lead at the half of this semifinal, and Holly Rowe is with Lexi Hull.
Well, Lexi, South Carolina jumped out to a big lead, 11-2 at one point. How did you guys start to settle down and get back into this first half?
I mean, we know basketball's a game of runs, so we can't let that first quarter or the first 5 minutes dictate the whole game. So we just had to stay locked in and focus on every possession.
Haley Jones was really hot in that first quarter, but she's been sitting with 2 fouls. How have you guys figured out how to score without her in the game?
I mean, everyone on our team steps up when they need, and as you saw, Ashton, Fran come in, make some valuable minutes. I mean, we need them, and anything's going to happen, so we have to adjust.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Stanford has a 31-25 lead over South Carolina. A trip to the national championship game is on the line tonight. Stanford hitting 4 threes in that first half. They have tied the record for most threes in any NCAA tournament. Time to check in with LaChina Robinson.
Well, guys, in that first half, we saw a unique balance of mobility and power from Aliyah Boston of the South Carolina Gamecocks. At 6'5", her footwork is tremendous, staying between the ball handler in the basket. You see here her moving her feet. Then she's able to wall up without picking up a foul, but still using that power. She is an immovable force down low on the offensive end. You see the defensive attention, but the patience and the strength of Boston backing down Fran Believe and the easy hook to the middle. And once again, right here, she sees the teammates. Defense has to stay honest. And again, getting so low in the paint, 2 feet deep. And that's an easy bucket, an easy 2 for Boston.
Aliyah Boston showing her full array of ability as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Stanford did a great job on the glass, out-rebounding the Gamecocks by 5, but even more importantly, off the bench. Prechtel came in and got 7 boards. Lexi Hull with 8. South Carolina's got to do a better job on that glass.
Yeah, Holly, that is so rare for South Carolina to watch another team beat them on the glass, for them to struggle in the paint as they clearly did in that first half. 4 for 17. South Carolina missed 19 of their last 22 shots in that half. Jones starts the third with a bucket, and Cook answers with a 3. Zia Cook, 15 points now.
In the first quarter, South Carolina looked really good when they were patient offensively, moved the ball. Zia Cook was able to get shots in rhythm. I thought they got hurried a bit in the second quarter.
Lexi bounces to Brink for the beautiful finish. Lexi Hull, 8 points, 8 rebounds, now a couple of assists. Henderson will fling it out to Boston. Beal given space. Henderson was wide open, calling for it, couldn't hit, and Brink secures it for Stanford.
That's not one of the players that Stanford wants to leave open, but she ended up with a great look.
A 41% three-point shooter is Henderson. 7-point Stanford lead. Williams can't finish. And Hull Another offensive rebound, and Lexi Hull draws the foul.
Zia Cook is so good in the mid-range. She can stop and hit the shot. And then Stanford finally, what they worked on so much in shoot-around today, making the pass and finishing layups.
4 offensive rebounds now for Lexi Hull. The push shot from Jones wedges in. Haley Jones picking up right where she left off after picking up foul number 2 and sitting the entire second quarter.
How comfortable has the sophomore Haley Jones looked on this stage?
South Carolina has not been out-rebounded in a game this season, but Stanford a +7 on the glass right now. Boston used the size and then the finesse as Brink took a tumble, no whistle.
There shouldn't have been a whistle. Brink tried to take the charge there, but she didn't have it.
Jones played less than 9 minutes in that first half. Hull on the cut, couldn't pop it in, and it's smacked out of bounds by Brink. And it will be South Carolina basketball.
If Aliyah Boston's not in the game, Hull probably makes that layup.
Yeah.
That's
the influence.
That's the influence she has on the defensive end.
Well, Dawn Staley told us she's got to be dominant. We can't win without her domination as Cook hands another 3.
Wilson got caught on the screen, and the way Zia Cook is shooting the basketball, that cannot happen.
Zia Cook 4 for 6 from downtown. Williams leaning, no. Boston the rebound. Here comes South Carolina. Cook trying to find space, hawked by Wilson. Wanted it back and got it. Wilson just pecking at it there, trying to knock it out of Cook's hands. Here's Beal given space, and Beal now knocks one down.
And what a sign of maturity by Zia Cook. She didn't force the shot. She got it to Boston, got it back, made the right pass.
That's something Dawn Staley talked about. Said the last couple games she feels like she's been seeing the right shooting lanes, the right passing lanes. Shot clock at 8. Nice start to this third for South Carolina. 2-point game. Brink gets fouled by Boston, and that will be number 2 on Aliyah Boston.
Zia Cook is a player who at times has forced things offensively. Here, could have taken the shot, could have taken it again off the bounce, instead makes the extra pass. When she is letting the game come to her and not forcing things, she is so dangerous.
Jones trying to flag it down. Pinned by Saxton, and a double dribble as Stanford turns it over. Mihir will come and grab Saxton. Letitia Mihir having just a terrific NCAA tournament, averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds on over 57% shooting off the bench for South Carolina. LaChina caught her dunking in the pregame as well. Mihir just an incredible athlete as Lacey Hull comes up with a steal. Hull bounces to Brink, who finishes. Lacey and Lexi, the twins on the floor at the same time. Lexi number 12, Lacey number 24. Boston fights through the double. Henderson unable to hit. Brink secures the rebound on the weak side.
A couple times now, Stanford has gambled leaving Henderson, and she has not yet been able to make them pay.
Lexi guarded by Beal, nearly lost the handle, spun into a finish with the left hand. A 41-35 Stanford lead. Lexi Hull now 10 points, 9 rebounds.
There's been a lot of action without a whistle. Players are starting to get a bit tired right now, Ryan.
Mihir, double, triple, didn't matter. South Carolina now has hit 4 of its last 5 shots. 4-point Stanford lead. And a whistle here against South Carolina.
Stanford has bigs who can run the floor. Cameron Brink is one of them. Call out in transition, delivers to her 6'5" post. And then here, Hull scoring on her way to the hoop.
Well, I got to do a Zoom yesterday, Ryan, with Jalen Suggs of Gonzaga. He is one of the best freshmen in the country, and he is actually best friends with the other best freshman in the country, Paige Beckers. They call themselves PB and J, Paige Beckers and Jalen. And he actually called her after he struggled in one of their Elite Eight games, and he said, gosh, I'm just so, the pressure, it's getting to me. And she said, you just got to go out there and be savage, Suggs.
And he was after that, and has a chance to now lead his team to a national championship, as does Beckers. UConn, Arizona coming up following this game. That relationship's so awesome. Nice little give and go out of the timeout there, with Jones now 13 points, 1 assist, and another 3 for Zia Cook. Looking to steal the show tonight in San Antonio.
Really well drawn up play by Dawn Staley to get her off the double screen for the shot.
21 points now for Zia Cook, her 6th 20-point game this season. 3-point Stanford lead. Lacey can't finish. Rebound Amihir. Here comes Henderson on the floor with Cook, Boston, Amihir, and Beal for South Carolina. It's Lexi and Lacey Hull, Brink, Jones, and Williams for Stanford. Cook was closed on, looking for space. Cook gives it up. How about Henderson? Another chance? That one is good.
You knew it was a matter of time with the amount of space she's been given in the defensive rotation that she would find the bucket, and she has.
And now starting to hear the South Carolina faithful here in San Antonio. It's a tie game, but not for long, as Jones pizza pies at home.
There's no answer defensively so far in this game for Haley Jones. She is the one player that South Carolina has not been able to limit.
Jones with 17 points. Here is Cook. Cook slides it to Boston. A 3. That one misses badly. Brink and Beal, a somersault. Beal ends up with it, and a timeout is taken by Bree Beal in South Carolina. South Carolina ball down 2. How about Destiny Henderson?
She had a couple open looks early, wasn't able to drain them. This one with the pose she did.
What an incredible night thus far for Zia Cook, LaChina.
Well, she has not stopped working off of the ball. She's got the Pac-12 co-defensive player of the year and Anna Wilson on her, but she's finding space to get her 3-ball up. Stanford defensively was focused on clogging the lane, but because of the screening action of Saxton, of her teammate Zia Cook, has given South Carolina a 3-point attack to complement the paint points, which is giving them some balance to their offense.
I've been so impressed with Zia Cook here today. If you watched her earlier in the season, there was times she was struggling with her shot or struggling with her decision-making of when to shoot and when to pass. She's been playing much better in the tournament, and today she's had a complete command in terms of her decision-making and when to look for her offense and when to involve her teammates.
That's something Dawn Staley's worked so much on with Zia, because she said scoring is such a part of Zia's psyche that sometimes when she's not scoring, it can fog up her ability to do other things. But over the last couple of games in this tournament, felt like she had really been making good decisions, and that has certainly continued tonight.
Dawn Staley says she sat down with her after their first tournament game against Mercer and said, slow down. Sometimes you have to be a decoy. She's not a decoy today.
Cook again, that time couldn't finish, had an open layup and unable to finish. Meanwhile, Kiana Williams, who we came on the air talking about her, struggled early in the game against Louisville, found her footing, has struggled tonight as well for Stanford.
Yeah, and it's very, very similar to how she played in the first half against Louisville. She is forcing things. She's not getting easy looks, but we saw her turn it around quickly in that game.
Beal able to squeeze it in and tie it at 45. Hull?
Well, guys, when Kiana Williams is smiling and loose and fun and silly out there, that's when she's at her best. She's relaxed. Right now, you see the look on her face. She's so stressed. Destiny Henderson's been defending her well, and Haley Jones has been unstoppable with another three.
Yeah, lucky for Kiana. Haley Jones is going to put a smile on everyone at Stanford's face. She has 20 points now, is 9 for 11 from the floor. That's the 5th Stanford three of the night. They have now set an NCAA record for most threes in a tournament.
The best players on the floor have been the sophomores. Cook, Jones, and Aliyah Boston.
And now Jones takes the foul, and South Carolina turns it over.
I mean, we talked about it already, but Haley Jones and the addition of the three-point shot, look how confident she is stepping into it. Continues to stroke it.
Stanford now has topped the 2015 and 16 UConn teams, most threes ever in an NCAA tournament. They still have time left in this game and maybe one more contest. Lexi Hull was unable to finish. Henderson end to end and spun it in off the window.
That's where she thrives, using her speed in transition.
Worth repeating on Haley Jones. She's now 5 for 8 from 3 in the NCAA tournament. She was 1 for 9 all year entering the tournament from 3.
Destiny Henderson is so quick, and when she is the one who gets the defensive board, watch out, she's going to be able to go the other way. 5'7" guard, incredible quickness.
Lexi Hull gets fouled from behind by Beal, and Lexi is going to shoot 2.
Lexi Hull has been impactful with her 9 rebounds. She has stayed aggressive even though she's only 3 of 11 from the field.
Did an outstanding job on Haley Van Lith in the Elite Eight. Tara Vanderveer said it was an Eastern Washington battle, I think, for Lexi, who's from Spokane, and she wanted to win it against the fellow Eastern Washingtonite, Haley Van Lith. Is that what we call people from Eastern Washington?
I don't think it is.
I think it is now.
It is. It is now. That's right.
Oh, it's both. She held Van Lith, the talented freshman, to 3 for 10 shooting and just 7 points. At 21 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals in that game. Cook, the step back is good. Zaya Cook wants this. 23 points for Cook, a 1-point Stanford lead. About a 3-second difference game in shot clock as the third quarter winds to a close. Here's Williams trying to find space, off balance, doesn't get the roll, and it's out of bounds off of Boston. So Stanford will have a chance for a final shot here. Kiana Williams now 3 for 11 from the floor. Williams will inbound. Gets it into Lexi. 8 seconds left in the quarter. Lexi pulls up and gets fouled, and if that's Boston, that will be number 3. And it is going to be number 3 on Aliyah Boston. And this is what you were talking about in a foreshadowing way, Rebecca. At the end of the second quarter, with 5 seconds left, sort of picked up what seemed to be an innocuous foul away from the basket. But now, because of it, ends up mattering as she hits number 3 here with 4.6 seconds to go in the third quarter.
And it will certainly impact her aggressiveness when she comes back in the fourth.
So Lexi Hull back to the line. Hits the first. Lexi now 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Stanford is 8 of 9. South Carolina 6 for 10 from the stripe in this game. And Lexi hits both. 4.5 seconds to operate for Cook. Cook will get it off. And that will do it for the third. A 3-point game. Fourth quarter coming up, a trip to the title game on the line.
Zia Cook with 23 points, pulls back, drains it. Rocking the baby. And her parents saying, "That's my baby."
The start of the fourth quarter of this semifinal. Stanford 52, South Carolina 49. Ryan Rucco, Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe, LaChina Robinson with you. A trip to the title game on the line, where the winner tonight will meet the winner of Arizona and UConn. That game following this one on ESPN. How about Zia Cook this evening?
I mean, she's been phenomenal. And again, it's not just her scoring, it's been her decision-making. For South Carolina to pull this game out, they need to have Cook continue to make the decisions she's been making. Stanford here in his zone.
Well, Zia Cook has been to the Final Four before. Her AAU team, when she was a kid, went to the 2016 Final Four in Indianapolis. She said, "That's me. One day I want to be on that stage." When she watched South Carolina win it in 2017, that's why she came to the Gamecocks. And now here she is shining on that very stage she looked at when she was a kid.
Pretty cool to see that come full circle. Rebecca, how about a key or two you're going to be honing in on in this fourth quarter?
For South Carolina, kind of been waiting for when they are going to be able to get some turnovers and get out in transition. They thrive in transition. And then if they can continue to clean up the defensive glass, because Stanford has been so good with their second opportunities.
Ami here. Gets it out to Cook. Back to Ami here. Deep catch. Trying to find space against Brink. Finish plus the foul. And a chance for three for Letitia Ami here.
What toughness by Ami here, because Brink is right there. And as a post player, you can go around or you can go over, and here she goes through.
Ami here. Played such a critical role in this tournament for South Carolina. Completes the three-point play. I mean, what more could you ask for? A tie game here in the fourth quarter, a trip to the title game on the line. Brink with Williams, Jones, Lexi, and Prechtel. Big lineup. Williams unable to hit. Oh, the offensive rebound got fouled. Another offensive rebound for Lexi Hull, her 5th of the night.
Shot goes up. Lexi Hull just goes and gets it. That's what they talk about when they say rebounding out of your area. She pursues the basketball.
And that foul was on Boston. So that is number 4 on Aliyah Boston.
Oh.
Who now will have to take a seat for the moment.
The impact is just as big on the defensive end of the floor for South Carolina. We've seen Stanford's difficulty in finishing layups today because Boston's been on the floor. And then on the other end, she has made good decisions. When she's gotten the ball, involved teammates, handed it off and finished inside, that's a huge foul.
Lexi Hull now 8 for 8 from the line. Stanford back up 2. How does South Carolina deal with Boston on the bench? That's going to be a jump ball. Stanford has possession. Good D again from Lexi Hull. Boston just a spectator at this point.
Lexi Hull has been a perfect example of, on a day when you don't have your best shooting night, you can still really impact the basketball game.
Jones, backdoor for 2. 22 points for Haley Jones. Henderson into Saxton. Henderson lines it up. Can't hit. Rebound Hull. Her 11th board of the game. Jones tumbles, lost it, but was able to get it to Prechtel, who kept the possession alive for Stanford. Hull, center of the lane, can't finish. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Prechtel. South Carolina basketball.
Stanford worked a lot on their backdoor cuts. Kiana Williams able to deliver, and sometimes for players, it's not just scoring that gets you going, but making a pass like that.
7:30 to go in the fourth. Stanford 56, South Carolina 52. Beal. Amihir, guarded by Brink, faced a double for a moment and gets denied at the apex by the freshman Brink.
Amihir shows great patience. She gets sandwiched by the defense and then goes up, and Brink right there with those long arms.
South Carolina had the possession arrow. They'll have 4 to shoot here. Amihir, the spin. Amihir couldn't get it to go. An offensive rebound, denied again. Brink fighting, winning, but it's going to be South Carolina ball as Brink is called for the foul.
What? By the naked eye and live, it just looked like she was pursuing the basketball. So she gets the block. Another block. Oh yeah, she pushed off with her left arm. She pushed off with her left arm. That's the right call. From where we were sitting, I could not see that.
Eric Bruton was there to make the call, working his 6th Final Four. 4th foul on Brink, who will take a seat. Boston back in for South Carolina now with her 4 fouls. Boston with 8 to shoot. We'll back it out to Henderson. Henderson, 5 to shoot. Can't hit. Rebound, Jones. Able to secure it for Stanford.
Do you do anything other than go right at Boston? Drive right at Boston?
Try and put that 5th foul on her. Here's Belibi, guarded by Boston. Jones couldn't bank it in. Boston the rebound. She's tied up. And that is going to be a jump ball. And Stanford has the possession arrow. Hey, Sunday at 5 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Join us for the NCAA Women's Championship Special, presented by Capital One, followed by the National Championship game. And visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Boston back out with the 4 fouls. And Dawn Staley, I believe, getting some instruction on her substitution.
She might even start going offense, defense here if she can, putting Boston in for the offensive end, taking her out defensively, or maybe just sitting her until the other under 5 timeout.
4-point Stanford lead. They've taken advantage with Boston on the bench. Belibi. Lexi Hull speeds in and banks it home. Lexi Hull now with 18 points to go with 12 rebounds and 4 assists tonight.
What toughness she has shown on both ends of the floor.
Cook evading, curling, and finishing.
Over 6'5" Prechtel. She continues. Cook does to make the right decisions.
25 points for Zaya Cook. A 4-point Stanford lead with 5:40 to go in the 4th. Lexi Hull pedaling through traffic. Never really had a handle on it and couldn't finish. And now Zaya Cook slowing her team down, and Dawn Staley directing her to do so. Zaya, not that time.
I think this is a stage in the game where players are feeling a little bit of fatigue, Ryan.
Jones, under 5 minutes to go in the 4th. Trip to the national title game on the line. Williams, the floater, short. Rebound, fought for by Belibi, who yanks at Henderson. And that's going to be a foul against Belibi. Timeout. Under 5 minutes to go in this semifinal. Stanford, the tournament's #1 overall seed, with a 4-point lead against another 1 seed, South Carolina. Don't go anywhere. We were talking to Haley Jones about this team this season, and she said the phrase that comes to mind is all in, because of the uncertainty with COVID, because of Stanford being ripped away from their home for 10 weeks, said every time we take the floor for a shoot-around, for a practice, for a game, the entire team is all in because we're just so grateful to have the chance to play basketball. Boston back in with 4 fouls, pivots into a bucket.
And if your post player has 4 fouls and is in the game, you go to her. That's why she's out there. Great patience and footwork and finish.
Boston a +9 in this game. South Carolina's been outscored by 11 when she's on the bench. Jones over to Prechtel. Prechtel, the floater, squeezes in. Stanford using a very big lineup right now. Jones, Belibi, Prechtel, all with great size to go with Hull and Williams. Me here, fakes the shot, gets it out to Cook. Zia Cook, 25 points tonight. Cook cups it up, can't finish. Boston amongst the other trees, and a jump ball is called. South Carolina will maintain possession. They have the arrow. Asia Wilson, who has a statue now in South Carolina in front of the arena. A 2017 national champion, the reigning WNBA MVP here in San Antonio, catching this action. Shot clock at 8. Here's a me here barreling in, gets stood up by Brink. Outstanding defense there from Cameron Brink, and 4 to shoot for South Carolina.
Cameron Brink has continued to deny, and Amir has continued to force the action. Brink is so long, she does not need to leave her feet in order to block shots.
Boston floats it up, doesn't get the roll. Amir trying to save, and it will be Stanford ball, holding on to a 4-point lead.
And important to note once again that while it's only by 1, Stanford still out-rebounding South Carolina.
Significant because it has not happened all season. South Carolina has not been out-rebounded a single time this year. We saw Boston check out. Stanford also dominating in second chance points. That is not something South Carolina's used to seeing. And a travel here against Stanford, and now Boston is going to check right back in. As you talked about, Rebecca, little offense, defense playing with the 4 fouls.
Yeah, for Stanford, not only the turnover, but you now give Dawn Staley the opportunity to bring Boston back in.
Henderson to inbound, floats it up to Boston. Me here, a 3, no. Me here way too long. She's now 0 for 10 on the season from 3, and that's, I'm guessing, not the shot Dawn Staley would have wanted.
Yeah, if you're playing offense, defense with Boston, that means you want to get her involved, get her a touch.
Me here knocks that out of bounds, and it'll stay with Stanford. Also, very early in the shot clock that shot was taken.
And here it is again.
So Saxton will check in for Boston. Saxton, a terrific defender in her own right, was 6th in the SEC in blocks this season. Does not mind switching out onto smaller players either. Prechtel a 3, short. Rebound Saxton, a chance here for South Carolina. Down 4, Cook speeds in, gets swallowed up by Brink. But another chance here for South Carolina. 5th block of the game for the freshman Cameron Brink. Saxton is fouled by Hull, and you wonder if this is a chance to get Boston into the game as well as we check in with LaChina.
Ryan, earlier you mentioned the big lineup in the game for Stanford. Well, that's bothered Zia Cook as well. When Anna Wilson was on her, that's when she was scoring a majority of her buckets. But since Hull is on her, her length takes away some of the space for Cook. So that's a matchup to keep your eyes on.
Hull has also been very physical with her as she's tried to get over screens.
Henderson gets the switch, pulls, and hits from 3. It's a 1-point game with 2:20 to go. And And Williams is fouled by Destiny Henderson.
Destiny Henderson here. Patience, brings it in, pops back out. South Carolina is going to need someone outside of Aliyah Boston, who once again exits the game, and Zia Cook to find some offense as the defense keys on those two.
Cook with 25, Henderson now with 12. Here back in for South Carolina. Williams has been quiet. Williams looking for space, flips in a big one for Stanford. The lead is back to 3 for Stanford. Dawn Staley calls out a play. Henderson thought about it, had space for a moment, but passed it up. Cook, that looked like a kick ball on hole. No call. Down the court, Brink lays it in for Stanford. It's a 5-point lead.
Yeah, Dawn Staley might want a timeout just so she can get Boston back in the game.
A timeout is taken. That absolutely looked like a kick ball was missed. And it ended up an opportunity in transition for Stanford. Rebecca, take a look and let me know what you think.
There's a difference between having the ball thrown off your foot and kicking it. Yes, her foot is moving. Yes, she kicks that basketball. That should have been a whistle. And South Carolina ball, and it turns into an easy layup the other way for Brink. What a huge missed call.
No question about it. A missed call there should have absolutely been a kick, was not, and now South Carolina's got to regroup down 5.
And if they called the kick and you inbounds, Aliyah Boston can come back in the game there.
So Dawn Staley trying to rally the troops here. Boston pinned underneath, unable to squeeze it in. Loose ball. Henderson has it. A 3. No good. Rebound Boston. Another chance here for South Carolina. Henderson through the lane. Flips it in. Plus the foul.
And how about the offensive rebounds from Aliyah Boston, a player with 4 fouls who continues to get in there and make an impact for her team so that Destiny Henderson can have this opportunity for the and 1.
Henderson a chance to make it a 2-point game. Hits the free throw. 64-62. Stanford in front. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. A trip to the title game on the line. And a timeout taken by Tara Vanderveer.
I would look for Stanford to get some type of dribble penetration towards the basket. Haley Jones has been virtually unstoppable in this game. Get her a touch. And if you can suck in the defense as players help and Aliyah Boston does her best not to pick up her 5th foul, you might be able to get a kick out for a 3.
A 64-62 lead for Stanford. 1:09 to go in the 4th. South Carolina 1 timeout remaining. Stanford with 3. South Carolina is in the bonus. South Carolina with 2 fouls to give. Stanford currently has the possession arrow. Brink and Boston both navigating with 4 fouls. Jones will inbound. Even the stanchions starting to rise to their feet here. Home. Lost the dribble. Beal after it and has it for South Carolina. Beal in transition gets blocked by Jones, and it will stay with South Carolina.
Did you see Cameron Brink when they were running just push her in the back?
So Brink gets away with that, and then Jones comes up with the block. South Carolina ball down 2. Boston over to Henderson. Henderson has been clutch for the Gamecocks here in the 4th. Henderson, a three. You bet! Destiny Henderson has put South Carolina on top with 38 seconds to go.
We said somebody besides Zia Cook and Aliyah Boston had to step up, and how about Destiny Henderson with the biggest shot of the game this far, going under the screen, and she makes Kiana Williams pay.
Asia Wilson absolutely loving what she's seeing from her squad. Now they're confirming that this was a three, which is what it was called on the floor. We will take another look as well.
Clearly.
Yes.
Three. So after this review, you would expect Tara Vanderveer to take a timeout and advance the basketball.
South Carolina with its first lead since this was a 15-13 game. The officials just confirming the clock right now. Henderson has the last
After review, the call has been confirmed as a three-point basket. The clock has been adjusted to 39.1.
So 39.1 seconds remaining. Henderson, the last 9 points for South Carolina. Rebecca, as Stanford draws up a play here, where does Tara Vanderveer, the all-time winningest coach, go with her Cardinal?
I think you have the ball in Kiana Williams' hands, but ultimately you want the ball to go to Haley Jones. She has been terrific all night. She's been efficient. South Carolina has not had an answer for her defensively. And as South Carolina looks for their stop, they have to get the defensive board if the shot doesn't go in. They have struggled with that all night.
Stanford has 16 offensive rebounds tonight. Stanford takes that timeout to be able to advance the basketball. South Carolina, a 1-point lead. 1 timeout remaining. They do have 2 fouls to give. Stanford is over the limit. They have 2 timeouts remaining, and they do have the possession arrow. Stanford does. Jones will inbound for Stanford. South Carolina leads by 1. Here is Hull. Hull turning, laying, missed it badly. Loose ball. Jones has it and hits. Haley Jones cleaning it up and putting Stanford back in front by 1 with 32 seconds to go.
It looked like South Carolina was trying to use one of their fouls to give on the drive, and it didn't work. And we talked about South Carolina having to get to the defensive glass. Right there, it looked like Cook tried to foul, or Henderson tried to foul. Haley Jones, what a tough shot as Kiana Williams does jumping jacks in the right corner, saying, I'm open. Haley Jones says, that's all right, so am I.
Jones, 11 of 14 from the floor, 24 points, and puts Stanford back in front by 1. South Carolina basketball, they are now out, and their final one there. Stanford does not have any fouls to give. Possession arrow belongs to the Cardinal.
Action involving Zia Cook and Aliyah Boston. And then if you can have Destiny Henderson spotting up in a corner trying to suck the help defense out. But I would look for action involving Zia Cook and Aliyah Boston. They have been the best performers here so far in this game.
An incredible contest between South Carolina and Stanford. The winner will face the winner of UConn, Arizona. That game follows this one on ESPN. 32 seconds remaining. Stanford a 1-point lead. Henderson to inbound. She has the last 9 points for South Carolina. Henderson lobs it into Boston. Boston bodying, turning, blocked by Brink. Flagged it back down. Another chance here for South Carolina. 21 on the shot clock. Henderson on the attack. Henderson threw it away. Prechtel the steal. South Carolina has to foul, and they do. With 13 seconds remaining, Stanford a 1-point lead, and South Carolina is still going to have to give another foul before they can finally put Stanford at the line. And Tara Vanderveer will take a timeout.
Destiny Henderson driving, gets knocked off balance a little bit. Boston doesn't come to meet the pass, and a great defensive heads-up play by Prechtel. That's not just on the passer. The receiver has to come to it.
Destiny Henderson had scored the last 9 points for South Carolina to help lead them down the stretch. A huge steal from Prechtel. Stanford with the basketball, up one timeout remaining. South Carolina still has to give a foul.
And it's important that Stanford has that one timeout remaining, because if they cannot inbound the ball cleanly, they have a safety.
Jones, an outstanding passer.
They remove Prechtel completely from the offensive end of the floor. She's a 58% free throw shooter.
Interesting that they leave her on the floor at all, although South Carolina still with a foul to give.
But you have to go guard her, or else you inbound to her. She could take a ton of time off the clock.
Jones inbounds to Williams, and the foul not called. Williams evades, and now the foul is called against Henderson with 9.1 remaining. Henderson tried to apply the foul right away and could not. And now Stanford will inbound again. Into Brink, and Brink is trapped, loses it. Boston has it, squeezes it to Beal. 2 seconds left. Beal misses. Boston, no! Aliyah Boston's follow just misses at the buzzer. Stanford escapes. Stanford is headed to the national championship game.